one of the things about Amare that, I've always admired as well is that commitment to, the products. We talked about the story, that sometimes, HIP talks about that when you were brought on board, they'd already formulated a couple of products, this and that. And
Right.
the commitment was, hey, if we're going to do this right, he was willing to scrap inventory, delay the start a little bit, all with that commitment of getting the right products in place, and that which led to, the overall commitment of, Amare being the mental wellness company, which 4 years ago was just starting to be acceptable, right? That concept of mental wellness discussions. But now you look at a year of a pandemic and it's more and more prevalent. So maybe talk about that vision, that mission, that commitment that Amare has to be the global mental wellness company.
Yeah, well, I'll say, the commitment that HipTran has to do this the right way is really astonishing, right? So it's one thing for a pie in the sky scientist to come to the table and say, you know what, this is how we need to do it. This is mental wellness is what we need to focus on. It's a big area. Lots of people are in this category. It's poorly served right now with, pharmaceutical options and things like that.
Right.
We could really make a splash doing mental wellness from a natural perspective. So that was one piece of it. But then the next piece of it is, let's build those formulas using science-based ingredients, branded ingredients that have really good science and quality control. Let's make sure we do ethical sourcing. So, for me to go to the CEO of a startup company and say, you know what, I need to fly to Madagascar for 2 weeks so that we can be on the ground to see how these things are being grown and how the people are being treated and, all that kind of stuff. And for the CEO of a brand new company to say, yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it right. We have $1 billion companies in our direct marketing space that do that kind of stuff. And I joke around. It's great to see other scientists. Sometimes we're on the same planes to these remote parts of the world. And we're like, where are you going? What herb are you going to look at? But you don't see that, a lot of times except for in direct sales. So, doing it right, I think is something I feel really proud about, not just Amare, but in, direct sales in general. But the reason that we do it is so that we can get a product that people are going to have a meaningful health benefit with. And then if that health benefit is meaningful enough, they're going to talk to somebody else and they're going to share it. And that's going to generate, continued sales. And that's our whole business model. It's like the science is where it starts. And this is the scientist talking, but if you do it the right way, you're building a legacy company. So going back to, just sort of round out that end of this question that you asked me, when we started this company 4 years ago, we knew it was a big problem. We knew that somebody needed to solve it in a better, natural way. But boy, oh boy, McKinley, we didn't have a crystal ball. We didn't know what was going to happen in 2020 with the whole pandemic. We didn't know that people were going to be coming out of this like now in the early part of 2021, understanding about mental wellness and understanding it's an important aspect of their overall life and understanding that they need to take care of themselves in ways that they can only get from natural products, So, I mean, it's just, things are coming together in a way that is just sort of right place, right time in a lot of really lucky ways for us.
Yeah. And I think that's where being ahead of the curve and some of that ties back, I think, to the commitment of doing it right, having a mission. I mean, 20 years ago, you and I would see companies that would come and it was kind of like, hey, this is the vehicle and throw a product against the wall and hope it works. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Those days are over, I think.
Yes, I would agree. I think the customers expect differently. And I think we create that type of relationship with the customer. And that's one of the unique things as well that you see companies like Amare and others that are succeeding are those that are creating that relationship. Because at the end of the day, the product, a good science-based product can create that kind of a relationship. And direct sales is that relationship business, right? It's belly to belly, kneecap to kneecap. And even if it is now technology-based, it still is relationships. And a product in such a unique way can create that bond and that relationship. So maybe in closing, just touch on that, how that aspect of the product can create that loyalty, create that relationship with a company, with the customer.
Well, it's all relationships. You asked me a few minutes ago about product development, and that a lot of that is relationships. If I know, I want to develop a product in a particular category to solve a particular problem, it's I go to trusted people that I know. Like I'll talk to other trusted scientists. I go to trusted ingredient suppliers. I have my own little network within the bigger network marketing network of scientists and suppliers and growers and things like that I trust. And it's the same thing on the finished product side. With a customer, they have a trusting relationship with Amare. They develop trust with the customer. They use that trust with the people that they know in their network, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, when people ask me, where can I find a product that does X? I'm much more inclined, because I'm in the direct sales industry, to say, oh, you know what? Amare doesn't do that category of product, but you can find that over here. And it's another direct seller of that category of product, or that category, because I have enough trust with the people who are developing those products that I can recommend it to my friends and family, So it's, that's where the rubber meets the road. It's all about those relationships that we all have.
No, and I love that about the industry. I love that about the products, is that it really can foster that relationship, a long-term relationship, that kind of trust. And people are starting to expect that from direct sales. They can come and they can find that, and it creates a community and a tribe in that way. And we're grateful, Shawn, for our relationship with you. It's been very long-term, and we've done some exciting things, and excited about the continuation of things that we're working on moving forward. So thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate your time, and
my pleasure.
Look forward to other projects in the future.
All right. Thanks a lot, McKinley.